Welcome to Psychic Social, brought to you by psychic.co.uk.
On this episode of Psychic Social.
They did look into the allotment and she was actually found with no shoes on. She'd been there, I think it had been her fourth, nearly fifth day, and unfortunately close to death. And I said to her, and I actually said at the police station, if she isn't found now, there's a warning sign, she's not going to be here.
Welcome to Psychic Social with me, Oliver Duke, the podcast that explores all things from the psychic and spiritual perspectives, including interviews with famous psychic practitioners, discussions about the afterlife, the paranormal, and much more. So relax and enjoy the show. Today's guest is a world-renowned psychic medium who's been a practicing medium for decades. She's appeared on the likes of ITV's This Morning and Loose Women, and she possesses many different psychic abilities, including medium clairvoyance. So we'd like to give a very warm welcome onto the show, psychic to the celebrities, the lovely Sally Cudmore. Sally, thank you so much for joining us on Psychic Social. How are you doing today?
Hi, Oliver. Thank you for having me and asking me. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. I've actually had quite a nice day today. I've done a lot for me today. Done nothing in the house, so I look around and think, oh, that's got to be done, but I've kind of put myself first, been relaxing, pampering myself, so it's been one of those days actually.
That's good, isn't it? That's because a lot of people, and especially people who've got children and stuff like that, you know, we all have to put, if you've got kids, you have to put them first, you know, most of the time, so it's nice to do something for yourself, isn't it?
Oh no, it really is. And I'm quite lucky because my two eldest, they're sort of 21 and 17, so the youngest is 11, and he's a little sweetheart. He just gets on with it. So thankfully they're not young where I'm running around after them. So he's quite happy to talk to his friends online and play his games. So throughout lockdown I've actually had quite a few days like this. I'm getting quite used to it.
That sounds great. Yeah, well, yeah. I've got two young kids here, and one of them's sort of 15 months old, and I've just got very used to the sound of screaming throughout the house. I mean, you can't. Can you hear anything now? There's nothing. There's nothing now. No,
it's actually quiet.
Yeah, it's actually quiet for a change. No, it's good. Well, it's great to have you on the show, and we've been wanting to get you on for a while, and it's been fantastic that you've been able to join us today and tell us everything about yourself and your psychic journey and your experiences so far. We've sort of been asking the guests that have been on recently throughout this kind of lockdown period what they've been doing to kind of stay positive, raise their positive vibes and sort of keep happy through this very sort of difficult, troubled time we've had over the last 3 months. What have you been up to?
It has been difficult, isn't it, for a lot of people.
What have you been up to kind of raise your positive vibes, and what would you suggest to people that are still sort of feeling a bit down about the whole thing?
Do you know what? Feeling down is quite normal. And I think just to basically not to be so harsh on themselves. I think it's quite normal how people are feeling at times, and it's so different, isn't it? And people haven't experienced this before, so what they are experiencing is normal for them. So but I can appreciate that sometimes it's hard to know how to think and what to do, but I tend to, I take things day by day. So what I've started to do throughout lockdown is just worry about today, think about myself a little bit more, try and do some more positive things, speak to family, speak to friends. If really down, there's plenty of support lines that people can call. But I tend to not look at the bigger picture and think, oh, God, are we still going to be like this next week, next month, next year? I take it day by day, get through today, then tomorrow, worry about tomorrow, if and when. I think that's how I've actually coped. Reading a lot of positive books, etc., speaking to my family, my mum, doing FaceTime over the phone, and just trying to keep us contact with loved ones and friends as much as possible. Clearing out old cupboards is always a good one, keeps you busy, which I've been doing. I didn't actually realise what a hoarder I was until I started cleaning out all my cupboards. The binman had a fit on Wednesday because the amount of black bags, I've gone through all my cupboards. I've just tried to keep as busy and positive as possible, but I get my down days like we all do, and it's just trying to keep your mind active and busy and having people around you that understand you.
Exactly, it is that, and it is like you said earlier, about staying in the moment and focusing on today and sort of what can I do today and get through today, and then we'll think about tomorrow. tomorrow when it comes.
Yeah,
you know.
most definitely. And it does help, Oliver. It really does.
Yeah, it does, definitely. Well, that's the kind of mindset that I've tried to adopt throughout the whole period, and I try to adopt on a daily basis, and it does help, you know, because it stops you being anxious about the future or what may happen, and there's no kind of point worrying about that until it does, you know. Or if
Most
it does.
definitely,
Yeah,
and it is easier said than done sometimes.
Of course,
and sometimes people get a little bit lost and start worrying about what's going to happen, and the majority of the time you find yourself worrying, getting yourself in a state, and it actually doesn't happen, and you feel all that time I've worried, and it's actually fine.
So exactly, but it's never tends to be as bad as you think it's going to be, does it? With anything really in life, I suppose it's just
no,
it's
it
never
doesn't.
as bad
The thought is worse, isn't it?
It's the anticipation, isn't it? It's anticipation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to move on into the show if we can now, Sally. We wanted to learn obviously everything about you during this show, this interview with us on a Psychic Social. Could you take us back to the beginning from you know, when you kind of started as a psychic, or when did the gift come to you? How did it arrive with you? Did you have it, would you say, from birth, or was it something that you kind of had to cultivate over a number of years? How did it work for you?
Oh, it's going back as a young girl, actually. We always had sort of spiritualism and psychic events within our household, and my mum and the family. We was all very spiritual. But as a child, it used to scare the hell out of me, in all honesty. But I think it would do as a child. You don't really understand it. I would see things, I would hear things, I would see toys moving, and God, every night I remember when I would have to go upstairs to bed, I would get into bed, put the blankets over my head, and there were literally sheets and blankets then. We didn't have posh duvets then, but the blankets over your head. And I used to be sweating, thinking, I'm not looking out of these covers because I'm scared of what I'm going to see. And that's how I would sleep every single night, with blankets over my head. On the occasions I would take the blankets down, if I heard a movement in the bedroom, there'd be small toys that have moved, or something's been pushed off the side, or I would see lights in the room. And I tended to block it out as a child because it did scare me. And even to the fact at school, I would come out with things that the teachers would be shocked by. I would tell them things that only they would know. And at one point, even got told to go to the headmaster's office because I'd upset a child after her granddad had died and told her so much about him. I got sent to the head teacher, and the head teacher actually said, you need to go counselling and you need to see somebody, not realising myself really what it was. But my mum went up to the school and explained regarding I'm quite spiritual and quite psychic. So I kind of blocked it for a long period of time because I felt that I was upsetting people with it. Then I became once I hit my 30s, I suppose, I then it came out more, and I kind of I loved the evidence I was being given, and I loved then how people took me seriously and how I could change people's thoughts and feelings and giving them comfort. So I feel that was. It wasn't until my 30s that I then started to take it a lot more seriously.
And I suppose when you're really young, you know, you're kind of given this gift. You don't know what it is, and you don't know how to, you know, sort of utilize it properly or cultivate it. Or so I can imagine must have been quite scary, and it is for a lot of people who are psychic, and you know, a lot of people that we've seen from or heard from them on the show that, you know, they get it from a young age and they kind of don't know what's going on, and they're seeing things like you've seen and things move and stuff like that, and feeling presences and things like that. But yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, we're going to move. We would like to move on to our next question for you, if we can. We wanted to know, or the listeners as well wanted to know at Psychic Social, were there any kind of really funny stories that you had from any of your readings over the years that you've done? Oh,
let me see. Do you know, one that always stands out and actually always makes me smile has got to be this lovely lady. Obviously, I won't name it's confidentiality, she won't mind me saying this anyway. But a lady came for a reading. It was her first time, actually. And I gave her confirmation of loved ones in spirit, and she was very happy. And then throughout the reading, I remember saying to her, right, well, I have Ron here in spirit. And she replied, oh, I'm not quite sure. And I said, well, that's okay. You'll have to hold it and you'll have to ask. Meaning ask family members when she gets home. So then all of a sudden she's looked up at the ceiling and she's called out, Ron, who are you? So I'm normally very professional, but on this occasion, I actually couldn't keep a straight face. And I started laughing, and even now I'm trying to keep professional. And explained what I meant when I said, sort of, you'll have to keep it, you'll have to ask, meaning, and thankfully she found it as funny, she found it as amusing, and we both was laughing for some time. And even when I started to continue throughout the rest of the part of her reading, she would be laughing and would just randomly laugh, and then I'd sort of have to kind of be my professional side again. But actually that was quite a funny occasion, and it's a story I always tell and always makes me smile. But bless her heart.
That's funny, yeah. Have you, conversely, have you got anything, a story that kind of really sticks in your mind from any of your readings over the years, something that just sort of really sort of resonated with you and stuck with you in a reading?
Well, do you know what? There's been so many. There has been one that always stands out for me, is another one that always says, I did a reading for a lovely lady, and she won't mind me saying her name, Lou Smith, and she's now a regular client. And the first time I actually did a reading for her, I'd done her reading, and then I said to her, why do I keep getting a red car with you? And she said, oh, that's my car. And I said, you know what, before you drive home today, I want you going to a garage, a car garage. There's something not right with your brakes on your car. And there is a red warning sign around you. Obviously, this has startled her. She's driven straight to the local garage, which was thankfully just up the road, and had her car checked and her brakes checked. The gentleman actually confirmed to her that her brakes were actually hanging off like a piece of string.
Oh,
and if she had gone home on the motorway, gone quite fast and broke quite quick, they would have snapped and she would have had no brakes. So it actually did save her life.
Wow.
So it was actually a great ending, thankfully. But that is one story that really does stick out for me, because I think it was very important that information come through. And a lot of clients always say, oh, don't tell me anything horrible, don't tell me anything terrible. But when it's warning signs, I think it's always obviously good to give, because that saved her.
Yeah, exactly.
It could have been awful. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people, you know, that sort of might not have a psychic reading, or might not sort of have psychic readings at all, would think that it was just kind of contacting people or kind of stuff like that, and kind of finding out about your bit about your future maybe. But yeah, when you're actually able to save someone's life, it's a pretty amazing gift, isn't it, to be able to do that for someone?
Yeah.
You know, unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. I'm so pleased she came for a reading, because she could have gone somewhere else and then it would have been different. But we're actually really good friends now, I think, since then.
Oh,
we're very, very close, and she comes for regular readings, bless her.
Well, it sounds like you were meant to hook up together then, weren't you, by the sounds of it?
Things happen for a reason.
Exactly, yes they do. Okay, well, so we've been hearing about your mediumship so far in the show. We wanted to know about your guides or guide. Do you have one or many, and how do they work for you, or does that guide work for you?
Oh, do you know, I'm probably going to be the only psychic that says I'm not sure, okay, because I've never been given names. I have guides, and I feel that there's more than one guide. It's like when you have many friends and you have different friends for different things. There's one friend that I could call up if I want to cry. There's one friend I could call up if I want to laugh. There's one friend if I'm really serious, help with something, and it's a little bit like that with guides, because I feel and I sense the difference in each part of information I'm receiving to give to others. But I haven't got that close, and I'm quite jealous the fact that I don't know their names, and I wish that I could say their names, but I haven't. I know they're there, but I can't really answer that fully, because I don't have names, and I don't really. I've never really. I've sat down and I've meditated before, and I've tried to see if anything came through, and names sort of would come through. But then when I sat down again, another name would come through. So I don't take that. I know they're there, but I have no names for them.
Okay. And how would you communicate with them? Do you communicate with all the different ones differently, or is it all the same? Is it all sort of through clairaudiently, I should say, or how do you hear them, or do you see visions or signs or symbols? How does that work with each one? Or
do you know what? Really, it's all of them with
Right.
different ones. And for instance, if I see spirit, it isn't like say me and you and I are sitting in the room, and you're clear in front of me. That is not how I would see spirit. If you're sitting in a room with me, I'm looking at you, and then I leave the room and I think about you. That's how I see spirit in my mind's eye. It isn't just as clearly as someone sitting there. And the same with hearing spirit. I can hear your voice now, but I'll put the phone down and then I will think about you and I'll think about your voice, and that's how I hear spirit.
Okay. And do they kind of tell you where they are, or do they give you any more information, or do they just channel through you to the person that you're trying to get the information from?
I work in a way where they channel through me to give information to help others. I don't know. People will say to me, well, where are they and what are they doing? And I don't know. I haven't been told that. All I get told is they are there. I give the information I've been given, and I know that they're there for loved ones, guiding and helping them. But that's how I see spirit and hear spirit.
Okay, and you're sort of firmly a psychic medium, so most of your psychic readings are all kind of connecting with people that have passed on. Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of my... Yeah, I give evidence of people who have passed over to spirit, guidance for future, and that's guidance. I'm not a fortune teller. I can guide people. There may be two different pathways, but ultimately it's down to them what pathway they choose. I'm not allowed to tell them what to do. I can guide them, and a little bit about their path, so that in their past, so that they know that I'm with them as well, and that they know that I have that connection, because I'm telling them things that only they would know.
That's really interesting stuff. Thank you, Sally. Well, that's going to move us nicely into our break here. We're hearing some great stuff from psychic medium Sally Cudmore on Psychic Social today, and we're very much looking forward to hearing more from Sally in part 2, where we hear all about her TV appearances, her take on the afterlife, and much more. So we'll see you after this. Hi, hope you're enjoying the show today. Now, we have a brand new horoscope email you can subscribe to at psychic.co.uk. All you have to do is wait for the pop-up to show on the website and then enter your email and star sign, and every Sunday night we'll email you a free horoscope for the week ahead. Now, you can dive in one step further if you wish and take a look at our Horoscope Plus memberships. This is your weekly horoscope plus a lot more. There are 3 memberships to choose from, and we've covered all budgets, we feel. So the Robin membership gives you private, exclusive access to a more detailed horoscope on the member horoscope pages at the website, and a chance to win a psychic reading via Zoom each month. And you'll get a free access code as well to the taster version of our amazing video tarot course with Nikki Allen, 10-Hour Tarot. Now, this membership is just £1.99 per month, and you can cancel it anytime you like. There's a ton of stuff in there for such a small amount of money, so much value. The next membership we've got is the Feather membership. It's a step up from there, and it's just £5.99 per month, and you can also cancel anytime for that one too. Now, as a Feather member, you'll get a much more detailed, in-depth horoscope than the Robin membership horoscope. And on that Feather member horoscope page on the website, you'll get exclusive access to that, with over 1,000 words of horoscope broken down into 3 sections. That's including romance, work, and family. It really will give you a fantastic insight into the week ahead every single week. You'll also get our truly amazing astrology video. That's thrown in for free as well, which is 30 minutes of fantastic content on astrology. And as with the Robin membership, you'll also get a chance to win a psychic reading via Zoom every month too. So that's wonderful value in there as well for $5.99 a month for the Feather membership. And the final membership is the Angel member. That's the top level membership to access on the site. That gives you some amazing stuff, and all that info is on the website. Just head to psychic.co.uk/membership. membership and take a look at which one will suit you. We'll put the link in the show notes of this podcast down below for you, so you can just click there and check them all out there. You can also check out the Horoscope page and have a little sneak peek at what the Robin members are getting there already. That's at psychic.co.uk/horoscope. Right, now back to the show. Welcome back to part 2 of Psychic Social and our chat with psychic medium Sally Cudmore. Now, we have our next question for Sally. Sally, are you ready for your next question from Psychic Social?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Oliver.
Great stuff. So we had a little chat before we started recording, and you mentioned to us that you've done some work with the police in the past, helping them with cases of missing people, and you've helped find these people. Can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
Yes, I did. This is going back a couple of years ago. I had a family approach me, actually, who's was regular clients, the whole family, and unfortunately their grandmother had gone missing. She had dementia, Alzheimer's, and she'd been missing for 2 nights, so they were absolutely distraught. They came to me to see what I could pick up. I did pick up a little bit, but I felt as if I needed more information about this woman, as in holding an item of hers, doing a little bit more of psychometry, because the actual woman wasn't here in front of me. So I cancelled clients for a few days, and I concentrated on this poor woman. Had to go to the police station at Bromley, held items of hers, pinpointed on a map. And it basically, I kept picking up that I was seeing a white van. I saw a gentleman had dark skin, and I kept getting like a water and hearing of water dripping and water around and gates being locked. So I pinpointed on a map, which was bringing me to a road. And in this road, I kept saying there was a lot of green, and it was an allotment in the end. When the police had to get somebody to open the gates, the gentleman arrived. He was a black gentleman with a white van, and had to unlock the gates, which is what I'd seen previously to this. They did look into the allotment, and she was actually found half sitting, half laying next to a big water tank in the allotment with no shoes on. She'd been there, I think it had been her 4th, nearly 5th day. Wow. And unfortunately close to death. And I said to her, and I actually said at the police station, if she isn't found now, there's a warning sign, she's not going to be here. She was taken straight to the hospital, and thankfully she lived to tell the tale for a while longer. Bless her heart, she's passed now. She passed a year after this all happened, but we did find her in the place that I actually pointed out and described, and she was found safe and sound. So that was quite an amazing to be part of that. And on my say so, police got out helicopters, sniffer dogs. So it was quite daunting at the same time, because thinking, please don't let me down, guides. And they didn't, thankfully. Yeah,
that's amazing. And you said you used this kind of clairvoyance psychometry thing where you're holding the objects. Where were the objects from, and how did you get hold of them? Obviously, you said they were at the police station. Was it relatives that had given them in?
Yeah, the relatives had, we'd arranged this, and relatives had turned up at the police station with the items, and I held the items for a bit. I know that there was a necklace of hers, and I think there was a scarf of hers that I held onto also. And then with the map, now I'm not great at maps. I'm terrible with maps. But once the police officer pointed out sort of roads and whereabouts it was near and etc., then I was fine with it, and I just sort of pinpointed the road. And he said, but there isn't a lot of green. So the police went there and then realised at the very end of the road, it was a little bit of an alleyway, and that was where the allotment was, and a lot of green. So it made sense.
Amazing, that's great. And was there anything else you kind of helped with the police with, using your gift at all?
Yeah, there has been. There's been a not so happy story. So I'm not going to go right into full details, as I haven't asked permission from the family. But there was a gentleman, unfortunately, that was that since passed. He drowned in a river in Medway, and I was in close contact at the time with his girlfriend, and she asked where she thought that he was, and she kept wanting to go back to Canterbury to see. She was convinced that he was still with us, and I knew that he wasn't. So all I could do is give her the name of the road in which he would be found, and I gave the name of the road, and it turned out then a few days later police in that same road had to get divers in, and his body was found, unfortunately. But that wasn't such a happy ending. But yeah, I have done a few things with missing people like that. Another gentleman local to me that was missing, again, had dementia, and I pinpointed where I felt he was. But thankfully he did return home, and where I said he was, that is where he had been for a day and a night. So that did also make sense.
And did you see, when you were kind of trying to locate these people, and you said you pointed on a map and things like that, do you get given the images, the visionary images of this to try and locate these people, or what's the primary thing that helps you find these missing people and where they are, their locations?
Do you know, really it's a photograph of them, ideally psychometry, an item of theirs, but I couldn't on this occasion with this young gentleman that passed. But it was really a photograph, and then I put up a map myself on Google as to where he was last seen, so where he was last sighted on cameras around the village. And then I looked at the bigger map, and that is where I could just go towards this road and know that that's where he was last, actually. Even before, because it wasn't all on CCTV, it was just the high street mainly that he was last seen. So the side road that I sort of had pointed out that was quite further on wasn't known by police at all.
Sure. I was kind of sort of referring to from your guides, and how did you see where they were in your mind?
Okay.
Through a vision from your guide.
They would give me, so basically it's like they would give me a picture, just like I said, that when it isn't a clear picture, it is in my eyes view, but it isn't very clear. But I would get a picture, I will get the name also, and I will also get the feelings with it. I know whether it's right or wrong. You just know. It's an odd feeling. You just know what it is. You know where it is, and you know it's correct. So say it was Church Street, sometimes they give me symbols, sometimes they would show me a church. And then I would then see street. So they would give me pictures as well, which will confirm exactly where the person would be.
That's very interesting, and good to hear all that, how you actually, the process of going through it all to help you find those people. Now, we wanted to move on to asking you about your appearances on television, because you've done some very popular, you've been on some very popular UK daytime TV shows, to name but This Morning and Loose Women. We'd love to hear a bit more about what happened when you're on a guest on those, Sally, if you could tell us.
Oh, do you know, I loved every moment of it. My first appearance was on This Morning, ITV, and with lovely Amanda Holden and Philip Schofield. It's going back a few years now. And I'm very nervous at first, but I am nervous before even going on for a show. But as soon as I'm on there, absolutely fine. You'd never know. But got on there, and Philip was very, very sceptical. Amanda very interested. Even at the end, she said, "Oh, can't you stay around and speak to me because I've got the second lot to record?" And unfortunately, I couldn't because I had a psychic show to do in the evening, so I had to just literally leave after. So she was really interesting. But I do remember, actually, and I have tried to speak to somebody this morning and tried to speak to Phil because he was very sceptical. It was like good cop, bad cop with Amanda and Philip. And I remember saying to Philip about, I keep getting Australia around you, Scotland, and why have I got someone that's going to come out as somebody being gay?
Oh, really?
And I remember Philip just looking at me and saying, oh, I don't know if I believe it, and walked off. And I always remember that. And Amanda sort of looked and said, oh, hopefully we'll catch up afterwards. And they were both there to hear that. And I think, oh, why wasn't that filmed on camera?
Yeah.
But I had an amazing time, absolutely amazing time. And especially, Loose Women was got to be my favourite. Loved it. It was just so relaxing. I kind of knew what to expect after being on this morning. I was more nervous then. But with... I can't remember. Was it Kay Adams? I think it was. That was very sceptical.
I was going to say who was on Loose Women, because they changed the panel quite a lot, from what I understand, don't they?
Yeah, there was Stacey Solomon. She was beautiful. Love her. Kay Adams was the bad cop one again. Right, okay. But the rest of them were lovely. There was I'm terrible with names, Oliver, but they were all a panel. I was very lucky to have that panel on that day. I do remember, and another thing that I wished that was on camera, because Kay was very, very sceptical, and she made that a little bit clear on filming as well. And then when they're all lovely, when we stopped filming, come off camera, and I thought, right, I've got to get Kay on something. And I went up to her and said, why do I want to call you Pat? And she went, oh God, how do you know that? And I said, well, I'm psychic. And she went, do you know what, you could never have looked that up. She said, it isn't published anywhere, but that's my real name. Pat is my real name.
Oh, is it?
And nobody knows that. Yeah, even people, I don't know, but not many people knew that. And she actually confirmed that to me and said, oh, I wish that was on camera now. And I thought, yes, so do I. So do I. But it was amazing. I could do that every day. I loved it.
It's good fun, yeah. What were the audience like? How many people were in the audience and stuff?
Audience, the cameras, I just love that environment. This is what I'd like to do a lot more of, most definitely.
Good fun. Sounds like good fun. Yeah, good experience.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've been in front of a few million people, I should think, as well, with those two shows.
Yeah. It's exciting, really though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's great to hear all that. I'm sure the listeners love to hear all that. Well, we wanted to ask you our last sort of psychic question of the show, as we're coming towards the end of the show now. We wanted to know what your thoughts are about the afterlife, generally through your medium experiences so far, and what do you think happens personally when we leave Earth?
Okay, I can only answer of what I've experienced myself. As do you know what, going back, although I experienced it as a child and then sometimes could be a little bit sceptical about things, but obviously as I've got older, I'm a lot more clearer, a lot more confident, and 100% know that the spirit world exists. But I can only talk about what I've experienced myself, but I can also say what I believe. But I do believe that they have gone, our loved ones in spirit have gone on to another plane. I feel as if they are there to help us, to guide us, as through psychics or through yourself by following your own intuition. I feel that they're around us when we need this. I don't feel they're around us all the time. I feel they're around us when we talk to them or when you want them to connect to you. I feel that it's the spirit still there, always with us, but I feel as if the shell that's gone. But I feel it's like they're on another plane, but I haven't never been confirmed as to where exactly they are, because I do get a lot of clients saying to me, well, where are they then? Where are they living? Where are they? Yeah. All I know is that they're on a different plane to us and that they are in contact with their loved ones, and they are guiding them and they're trying to help them until they meet again.
And what do you think about the sort of concept that the astral plane or heaven or whatever you want to call it, wherever we are going next, what do you think about the concept of the fact that might be home in inverted commas and Earth is not our home? Because just a few psychics have said that have been on the show in the past. They've sort of postulated that idea, and I've sat and thought about that for quite a while, and it's just an interesting thought. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that that's the case?
It is really interesting, and do you know what, it's quite a lovely thought as well, isn't it? Because you're going to something, you feel that whatever happens, you're going to something better, and you're going with your loved ones. And I do feel that. I feel as if we're all going to eventually meet again, because they're waiting there for us. But again, I can't confirm for definite because I've never visited there, and I don't want to go there yet. I'm not ready yet. But what a beautiful thought, and I do feel and I do believe that that we all meet again eventually.
Yeah, Yeah, I believe that too. And obviously I'm trying to formulate a lot of my own ideas and thoughts about the whole thing after starting to record this show. And it's just, it's letting a few of the thoughts percolate and thinking about them and thinking what do I do believe in and what do I don't out of everything that I've heard. And it's just interesting to hear all the different psychics' take on everything and the afterlife and all that kind of stuff. Well, Sally, it's been fantastic to have you on the show. We're just going to ask you we're just going to move slightly away from the psychic world now, and just wanted to get to know a bit more about you in terms of what you like to read or watch on TV or anything, or box sets, anything on Netflix or anything like that.
Oh, okay, I'll keep it clean then.
Please do.
I'm only joking. Okay. Do you know what, book-wise, I love kind of mindfulness. I love positive books. I've just read, actually I haven't completely finished it yet, Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life by Stephen Hayes. Amazing book.
I've heard of that book, yeah.
Honestly, I absolutely love it. It makes you think, and do you know what? There's always room for development, and always room with sort of developing and within, and making things better within. So I love self-improvement books. So that's a book that I read. I love. What was the other one? The Power. I like. The
Power of Now, was it?
The Power of Now, yeah. There's lots of sort of positive books that I like. Susan Jeffers, Anthony Robbins. I love books, and you go into your own little world for that moment. So
yeah, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to, when you, especially now and around about now with everything going on in the world, it's quite nice to kind of get yourself lost into a book, and which is very positive and makes you kind of feel better after reading it, and makes you think a little bit more. So that's what I've been doing a lot in lockdown, is reading. Also, box sets. Now, do you know, believe it or not, I actually don't like horrors.
Right, really?
I will not watch a horror movie. No, it scares the hell out of me. So I'm not going. You know, my daughter's 22, and she's, come, let's watch this. And no way. Even if I go, I actually have to go into a different room if she watches a horror downstairs.
Really?
And if I can hear the screaming and the yelps and I literally have to put headphones in, thinking I don't want to be any part of that and hear it. So I'm a bit odd like that. But I have been watching. The Stranger was quite good. I've just finished that. But I'm a real romantic at heart. I love romance and that kind of thing. But The Stranger was good. It was about a woman who goes up to people that are kind of related in some way, revealing secrets about their family. So that's actually a good one to watch. So I've just finished that one. I do actually need a new one. So I do need to look for and find a new series.
Right, okay. Have you watched Afterlife with Ricky Gervais at all?
Yes, that is lovely.
That's quite good, wasn't it? Yeah.
I've watched the first one. The second one I've kind of watched on and off, but I think whereas I've been busy reading and busy planning other things, I hardly ever watch telly, believe it or not. I only ever put something on if I can't sleep, then I'll put a series on, but I tend to never have the TV on. It's normally radio or reading. God, I sound so boring.
Oh dear. No, that's great. I mean, really, reading a book is almost a kind of lost art or lost thing, isn't it? Really, these days.
I know, definitely, but I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Well, thank you very much for that. We'll pop the links to those in the show notes as well. Now, can you tell the listeners where they can get hold of you? Tell them about your website and your social media, anything you're selling, any courses or books or anything like that.
Well, my social media, it's mainly, I have quite a nice following on my Facebook. So Sally Cudmore Psychic on my Facebook page. I do live links on there sometimes, which I will continue to do in a couple of months, which is always nice. And sometimes my psychic shows are also put on there live for people to view. So that's quite nice. I am in the middle of, I can't say in the middle because that actually would be bit of fibbing. I'm at the start of writing a book about my psychic life and going back to when I was a child, etc., which I'm really excited about. I've also teamed up with an amazing guy called Clark Tribe and Jay Singh. They're both producers, actors, and they are actually in the process of, we're sort of co-writing a horror movie, believe it or not, although I don't watch them.
Really?
I'm helping them, yes, a horror movie. And it's quite exciting because it's about a family that moved to an empty house, and it comes apparent that they're not the only ones resident there. And I'm actually playing in this movie, eventually when it's all done, the psychic. So I'm playing myself in a way, but obviously playing a part. So I think that would be quite interesting. I'm giving my input about how psychics, what would happen if the house is haunted and how you would try and clear it, etc. So I'm giving quite a lot of my input with that, which I think is going to be quite exciting, see what happens there. There's also, we're sort of in pre-production again with this is just with Clark Tribe. We're doing we can't go right into it at the moment, but this is hopefully going to be a new TV series. It's called Psycho to Psychic. So it's going to keep people on the edge of their seats. We can't divulge too much, but we are sort of in discussions regarding this. And also we're going to be doing a documentary. So there's going to be 6 series documentaries, and mine's going to be one of these small documentaries about my psychic life, about sort of helping others. It's a lot about helping others and the community, and it's also going to be about my homeless work that I do and helping children with illnesses, etc. So I've got quite a lot on to look forward to this year. That
sounds really interesting, all of that stuff. Great, it's great. And your shows that you were doing, you said, do people get tickets for them, or how can they book in for that?
Yeah, they can go through via myself, or we have a phone number on my psychic Sally Cudmore Facebook page. So they can buy tickets. The next one is going to be in Blackheath, but because of what's going on at the moment, it was supposed to have been in May, but obviously that's postponed. So we're looking to hopefully go ahead within the next couple of months.
Oh, right,
when we've got the all clear.
Okay, so these are in-person shows. They're not sort of over Zoom or anything like that.
Oh, this is one. This is that one. But I do
record
record my personal shows, so people can watch them also on my Facebook page.
I see. Okay, cool, excellent. Well, thank you very much for all those. We'll put all the links for those in the show notes on our website on psychic.co.uk, so everyone can click through to those for you. Well, we're about at the end of the show now, Sally. It's been fantastic to have you on Psychic Social today. I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us and sharing all this great information that you've given us. It's been really nice to hear all of this, and I'm sure everyone's enjoyed listening to it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, not at all.
And it's so lovely to get out of the mundane of lockdown and talking to you.
Exactly,
so
it's great. Yeah, great stuff. And we'd love to do I think we discussed before, we'd love to do a kind of Q&A with you. So if we can get some of your Facebook fans to, kind of get a few questions in, and we'll do another show with you at some point.
I'd love that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sally. Well, take care, Sally, and stay safe, and we look forward to speaking with you again very soon.
And you. Thank you, Oliver.
Thank you, Sally. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on Psychic Social from psychic.co.uk, the spiritual home of psychics.